I want to attach a link, and there's a little video clip there of Billy Bob Clinton. You know, the past president that should have gone to a federal prison for a while for having lied to Congress about, "I did not have sex with that woman." Well, unfortunately, his sperm was all over her blue dress, but that's a different story. Yeah, this little video clip shows Billy Bob trying to explain to a reporter why he has to work. And when I say work, he gives a speech and he makes like between $500,000 to $750,000. He's raked in well over $100 million in speeches. You have to ask yourself a question: what kind of bills could he possibly have? Now, I've made mention of this in a previous video, but if there's some new subscribers, they might obviously not be aware of it. I had read that on the estate that they live in New York, the government built a residence for the Secret Service that are there to protect both Billy Bob and that whacked-out pantsuit pig Hillary, and they're there for the rest of their lives. But again, the facilities were built by the government, but the building belongs to the Clintons because it's on Clinton's property. And what I had read was that the Clintons charge the government $10,000 a month to have the Secret Service that are there to protect them living in a residence that the Secret Service built with your tax dollars. And the Clintons use that money to offset whatever that house costs them per month. So the only thing I can think of that Bill needs that kind of money for is when he flies down to Jeffrey Epstein's little love nest to be entertained by those underage girls. I don't understand why the FBI isn't looking into that a little further. I mean, they really should. But who in their right mind needs to work to pay bills when they've made, I don't know, a couple of $100 million in speaking fees? And these fees are paid to him by questionable countries. The majority of those speaking fees were obtained when Hillary Rodham, I keep making a mistake. I keep calling her Rotten. I don't know why that is. It might be because she is. I guess that could be why. But anyway, Hillary Rodham Clinton, when she was Secretary of State, hundreds of millions of dollars were given to Bill for his eloquent speeches by, once again, questionable countries. Who in their right mind needs that kind of money to pay bills? And what amazes me is that the reporters that were speaking to him when he made that idiotic comment should have said, what kind of bills could you possibly have that require that insane burn rate? You know what they should do? They should spend some of their money on Chelsea. I don't like picking on somebody's kids, but she's a grown woman. She should have gone to an orthodontist a long time ago. Her mouth looks like a complete mess. And you know what that says about the Clintons? They were too busy worrying about themselves and how to screw the American people. They should have been worried about the dental care that their daughter, Chelsea, needed. She looks ridiculous. It might be too late to correct the mess in her mouth, but she should at least look into it. And again, I don't like picking on people's kids, but Chelsea's not a kid. And as far as I'm concerned, she's as complicit as Mama and Papa are. You know, I made mention of this in a previous video as well. Chelsea and her husband purchased a $10 million apartment in New York a few years ago. You sort of wonder how she could afford to have done that. But then again, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that aren't accounted for in the foundation that weren't even reported. having been received. How is it that these criminals are allowed to continue doing what they're doing to this country? It's actually an embarrassment that the Democratic Party would allow this skag to be their chosen one. Oh no, the chosen one, he's over at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Their selected candidate for the Democratic Party. What's that say about the Democrats? They're all nut jobs. But then again, what else is new? Take a look at the video. You'll hear Bill in his own words. I gotta pay my bills. He's mocking the American people. You know what the average income is in the United States? And here's a guy making $750,000 donated to him, given to him as speaking fees by a questionable foreign Middle Eastern country. How nuts is all of this? And what's Loretta Lynch doing? Well, she's going to go investigate the Baltimore Police Department. Stephanie Burke had asked her to do that. She thinks her police department might have violated those wonderful citizens that they have in Baltimore, violated their civil rights or their constitutional rights. So if someone's breaking in to someone's home and you arrest them, would that be considered violating their rights? Just asking.